Welcome to day one of your 30-day Turkey Trot virtual challenge. All of that means is we're going live every day for 30 days to bring you your workout, your run, your routine for that specific day so that you can be ready for the big race on Thanksgiving morning. This challenge is all about you showing up, but not just showing up to this challenge, but also showing up on Thanksgiving to actually run the race, because believe it or not, 50% of runners actually get injured and never end up making it to the starting line. So we want you to be able to show up to the starting line, and that's why this first week is so important for you to get moving how the body is built to move. The biggest mistake that I see in a lot of runners, especially in some of the shorter races, and not just me, but a lot of running coaches out there, everybody seems to be overstriding. And when we get into the 5Ks and the 10Ks, where people just kind of show up and wing it, and don't really have much of a training routine, or haven't really been taught how to run a specific way, they just kind of figure it out on their own. And everybody seems to be overstriding, extending the foot forward. And a couple of things happen. When we extend the foot well in front of the hip, we hyperextend the knee joint, right? The leg is straight, so the knee joint's jammed back in the socket. And as soon as the heel hits the ground, the weight shoots right to the back of the knee, up to the hip, the SI joint here, and both the front and the back of the hip. And also, we create this bad running gait throughout the race. And so we're not going to lean backwards. So what we're going to do is come forward so that we find a balance in our body, but we're also going to arch the shoulder slightly. So not only do we create this constant crunch in the low back, but there's also 365 joints that run up the spine that we are also loading. So all of the joints are locked and loaded, and they're taking the brunt of the force with every single stride. And that's why today is all about keeping the joints safe, the joints soft, because there's this big misconception that running is bad for the joints. And not only is that untrue, but when we run the way we're meant to run, we should be able to free the tensions in the body. For example, every single time that I wake up, maybe I sleep wrong, I wake up with just a kink in the neck, low back's bothering me, the knees, I got some tension built up in the knees and they're bothering me. First thing I do, I mobilize a little bit, but then I go for a run. And I run for about a mile. Nothing long, but for me, that's just nice jog. And what happens is the energy starts flowing through, because when you run how you are built to run, right, the energy is supposed to be moving through the body. So today is about keeping the feet under the hips. And so the main thing that we're going to do as we go through our run today is we're going to try to take 3 steps for every 1 step you would normally take. So we're keeping the steps super small, but also we're not landing on heel strike because the feet are under the hips. So we're actually landing on the forefoot of the foot. So more in the middle of the foot, okay, not all the way in the toes, but more in the middle. And we're bringing the heels towards the glutes instead of in front of the hip. And so we're keeping them almost running in place. So right now, just start to run in place or march in place just with tiny steps. And what this is going to do is it's going to not only keep the joints super safe, but the energy is flowing through the body. So you should actually be releasing tension. So how we're going to measure success today is think about how you feel right now. And you get done with your run today, you should feel better. Today is all about feeling better when you finish than when you start. And so keeping the feet under the hips, try to take 3 steps for every 1 you normally would take. And pick a distance today that, for me, it's going to be half the distance that I'm going to run on Thanksgiving morning, which is a 10K. So I'm going to go out there for about a 5K or for 3 miles or so. But you could choose something shorter or something longer if you're really feeling up to it. but just make today's run super, super easy. And post in the comments how you feel or after your run today. Let me know if you feel better after your run than when you started, so that we can kind of dive into some of the issues if anything does arise. Go out there and have a great run. To give you another quick tip here, while running with the feet under the hips while taking smaller strides, this is going to be super, super effective, both going uphill and downhill. You could imagine running uphill with this giant stride and trying to pull the ground towards you versus the feet under the hips and driving the ground away from you, how much more effective that would be. But also running downhill, so many people hurt themselves this way because they're overstriding. And when you do that and your body's actually falling forward faster than your feet can actually move because you got this big stride, you're actually resisting yourself going down. Even if you do start moving fast, you don't feel in control. But when the feet are under their hips and they're moving, almost like I like to envision the road runner, keeping the feet just under the hips doing that way, you start to weave in and out and passing people. You have super control, and it doesn't bother you that much. Like, it's actually more exhilarating to run 15, 20 miles an hour, right, going downhill than you normally would. So give this a shot today, and we'll see you soon.